Hi everyone, welcome back to another channel update. I am back from PDXCON and there are a few things on my mind that I would like to talk to you about. The first thing would probably be videos. I will be putting up some new videos soon. More videos, more series, yes. Second thing is just, talking a bit about PDXCON itself, because I imagine some people might be interested in that. And finally, I would like to talk about a possible Facecam, which ties into streaming and stuff. So without further ado, what is probably interesting to most of all of you, the videos and what future series I will be doing. So after I came back from PDXCON, I came back with a bit of a fire in my belly. And first up, Factorio. I've streamed it twice, and 0.15 hit around like a couple of days before I actually took off to go to PDXCON. So I am going to be starting a series on Factorio 0.15 on the channel, like starting tomorrow or something like that, probably. So do keep an eye on that if you're interested in Factorio. Furthermore, I've been starting to think about playing Subnautica on the channel at some point. It's a bit of a horror game for me because I've always really had a let's just call it a fear of fish. Like ever since I've gone out when I was small and with the family, we'd go out fishing. I'd be afraid to touch any fish. Which isn't really a problem until you start playing like an underwater game, and oh my god, there's like a bunch of predators everywhere. They want to kill you either by biting you, leeching your blood, or just cutting you in half with giant teeth, or pluck you out of your submarine. So that's made Subnautica a little bit more interesting to play. I picked it up at one point, just to like play it myself and see if I could like use Subnautica to sort of come to grips with it and sort of, make it a bit easier to play games in which you're underwater and like have to be bitten by predators sometimes. I still really enjoy the survival in that game though, and like going out, researching parts and eventually building a kick-ass base somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and just having things in there like, I don't know, an indoor aquarium so you could breed your own fish, things like that, epic lights, and like a little farm in there as well, because you can now have farming in that game, which is pretty neat. And then exploring the depths. They've recently like worked on their story mode, and I think like most of the story mode's in there now. Don't quote me on that. So yeah, I might go and record some Subnautica at some point if people are feeling like that. I also have an EU4 series that I still have to finish. I don't know if I'll get to that at any point. Like, I haven't really been feeling like playing it, but I know it's like 50 years from the end. If people really want me to finish that, let me know, and I will probably dive on that at some point. As it stands, it currently doesn't really have a priority, and it might just get drowned out and just forgotten about. I don't know. Just let me know if you're interested in seeing that continued. I would also like to take a look at City Skylines at some point. Now, for those of you who don't know, City Skylines is basically like Colossal Order teaming up with Paradox Interactive, who you may know from PDXCON. Hey. They made a city builder after like SimCity 2015 just ruined it for me. And I've always looked at it like I own a copy of City Skylines. No DLC, but I would probably buy that if I were to like do a series on it, which I am thinking about because I really enjoyed city builders. I grew up on like SimCity 3000. I played a lot of SimCity 4. I even figured out a way with a friend how we could play SimCity 4 as sort of multiplayer. We would put the region in a Dropbox map, and then we could both like alter cities and stuff, and we could like sort of play at the same time in the same region. It was amazing. Then SimCity 5 came around and ruined things for me. So I've had City Skylines just sitting around like forever, just waiting to get a proper chance to be played, and I figured like doing a series on it at some point in the future would be a good way of doing that. Also, since I went to PDXCON and Martin Anwar, aka Wiz, game director of Stellaris, decided he would like to be a bit like Oprah and figured, hey, I'll just gift everyone who goes out to PDXCON an anniversary edition of Stellaris. So that means I've now got all the DLC for Stellaris. So I could do a series on that if people are interested. I'm not sure what we would play, but we'll figure that out when we get there. Let me know. And finally, there is this little thing called Hearts of Iron. Paradox actually invited a couple of mod teams to visit PDXCON, one of which was the Kaiserreich mod team. They did a mod, or rather they're still working on it, but their mod is called Kaiserreich, which basically is what if Germany ended up winning the First World War. And it's really interesting. It's a really well thought out alternate universe with little nods back to the original, like Adolf Hitler becomes a successful painter. That's good for him. And some man writes a book in the same style as The Man in the High Castle about a future where Germany lost the war instead and, basically played out like our universe, and people would enjoy reading it as fiction, but they would just, that would be weird, right? If Germany if Germany lost the First World War. So I am thinking about doing a Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich series to get back into Hearts of Iron 4, because as I will mention later in the Paradox in a PDXCON bit, I have talked to Podcat, Dan Lind, game director of Hearts of Iron, and I've seen some of the upcoming changes for Death or Dishonor and the balancing to air warfare and stuff, and oh my god, it looks amazing. So I'm going to be looking to get back into Hearts of Iron 4 soon. I know there's a lot of people on the channel excited for that, but be sure to speak up down below if you would like to see some Hearts of Iron. So I sure would like to play some Kaiserreich on the channel. And one last final thing, I would also like to add that I'm still looking forward to playing For the King on the channel at some point. It's probably going to be a Let's Try, or Let's Look At rather. And it's going to be a couple of episodes or something like that. Also, Steel Division. There's more coming. I don't know when though. I tried playing some more after the update 2 weeks ago almost now. And the axes are just imbalanced now. They keep adding, German decks that are well suited to defense, not well suited to offense. And you have to wait, 30 minutes in to get your toys. The big tanks, the King Tiger for example. Meanwhile, the allies get deck after deck after deck after deck that are well suited to phase A and B, attack. So you've got the allies on one side, they get their, good decks for phase A, the earliest phase. Meanwhile, the Germans get stuffed with defense and have to wait until phase C until they can start, dominating. It just feels inherently unbalanced right now, not to mention that they made the Jumbo laughably armored compared to, the King Tiger. It's got more armor than a King Tiger. As a history fan, that makes me just laugh. That is absolute bull. I am sorry, but jeez. Anyway, I'll probably upload more of that at some point, but, there's going to be an update, I think tomorrow or today, depending on, how they do so. Yeah, I might take another look at that pretty soon. Anyway, let's move on to PDXCON. So as many of you might know, I spent this last weekend in Stockholm. I left on Friday, I came back on Monday, and I had a ton of fun in Stockholm, going to PDXCON on Saturday and Sunday, walking around the streets of Stockholm on Monday morning, then going back to the airport and flying back home. Wasn't much of a fan of flying because, you're sitting in a plane, I don't tend to go on planes a lot, so your mind tends to freak out a bit more often than when you're stepping into a car, for example, even though flying is, on average, and statistically safer than getting into a car. You get into a car so often, it's the most normal thing in the world, whereas in a plane, my mind was trying to make sure that I was absolutely aware of the fact that I was absolutely going to die. So that was fun to try and deal with. Honestly, I got dropped off at the airport by my dad, so that was thankfully something to relax by. I could have gone with the bus, but would have added a bit more mental stress. Once at the airfield, everything went pretty smooth, got held over by security as usual. They always seem to like to search me for whatever reason, but there we go. Getting on the flight itself went alright. I was there just bang on time, so that's good. No like added stress there or anything. So the flight went pretty calmly. We had some turbulence in the beginning, which didn't help with the whole you're about to die part, sadly. But we landed alright. No real major delays or anything. The only trouble I had was getting to my hotel. In my absolute social state that I am, figured I'm just gonna walk. And then I got slightly lost. I'm not gonna say like severely lost. I did eventually find my way there, but it was like an hour or two later than I would like. But that was like the most stressful part of the journey by far, because you're in a strange city. You're either gonna take like public transits. I mean, I took the train to Central Station, and then like figured I'd walk from there, because I am not really one to get into a taxi. So I'll just walk it. Everything went fine eventually. Got to the hotel, tried to get some sleep. Didn't get a lot of sleep, slept for like 4 hours or something. And then on to PDXCON. The people were friendly. The developers were amazing. You could feel the passion when you were talking to them, and they were so open as well. Like, I spent quite a while talking to Podcat, Dan Lin, game director of Hearts of Iron. I spent a lot of time talking to him about Hearts of Iron and just a bunch of mechanics. I talked EU4 mechanics with DDR Jake. He asked me like 2 mechanics I would like to change. One being sailors, and I think the other would be being slightly like more open about the mechanics behind like royal marriages and stuff like that, and like personal unions. So that was a fun talk as well. I raided their merch store. I got an absolute ton of stuff, like, 1 or 2 pins. I got a second like mouse mat for Steel Division. I got a little model Sherman tank. I got a hat, so you always gotta have a Paradox hat, right? I got my father a Chirpy mug, so he's quite happy with that. And then I also got, in the goodie bag we got a free battery charge, or like a power bank for like mobile phones and stuff like that. We got another mouse mat for Steel Division, so I accidentally bought a second one, but I was able to hand that one off to my sister, so that's alright. I also, of course, got a ParadoxCon 2017 t-shirt, which I may be wearing right now. I got a little CK2 hip flask, which was pretty neat. And I got a little, like, City Skylines, a medal thing. Yeah, a medal, not a metal thingy. A medal. With Chirpy. So, yeah, that's pretty much all the swag I brought back from PDXCon itself. I also went out on Monday to a bunch of stores to, get some gifts and get some cool stuff. I went to a random clothing store and I got my sister a shirt because she asked for a t-shirt. So I'm like, you know what? That's cool. I'll bring you guys back something. And so I did. And everyone was very happy. I also went to a army surplus store because that's kind of my thing, right? Whenever I go somewhere, I want to go to an army dump store just to see what they have. I ended up coming home with an American M1 helmet from the Second World War. Although, it's a replica helmet, but that's neat. I might wear that once I get my Facecam in order, which we will talk about later in this video. Yes, I'm such a tease. But yeah, I got myself a plastic, helmet. I also got myself a olive drab, canteen. Also American. So that's pretty neat. When I last went to, another city, outside of the Netherlands, was, 4th year on, school. Went to Berlin for, a whole week, Monday to Friday. And I went to an army dump store over there as well. And I came back with a steel Soviet helmet. Because, comrade needs his helmet. Duh. I also got back with a soldier cap from there, so, those are pretty good candidates to wear if I'm ever streaming any Hearts of Iron with a Facecam, hint hint. Oh, such a tease. But yeah, I got a bunch of awesome stuff from there. I am really happy that I went. I'm definitely going to try and go again next year. They had a bunch of people on from, the press and stuff. I even got my picture taken with Quill18. That was pretty fun. Afterwards, I handed him the gift of my people, which would be a Milka chocolate bar. That man really loves his chocolate, so I made him very happy with that, which was nice. I could actually put the picture up right now through the magic of editing. Because you guys are probably interested in seeing my face at some point, which, fair enough. Now, one prior warning, I do look like shit. I know that, don't worry. Also, I don't look great in the picture, like, I sort of look like a little disinterested, but I don't know. It's just, I don't do well on pictures, that's why I normally don't take pictures, but, seeing Quill, I figured, like, I'll put up a picture. Or at least I'll take a picture and then now I'll put it up. You have been warned. I will give you a warning when it's all clear, don't worry. And there we go. That is me on the left. I look like shit. I haven't shaved in ages, which I probably should at some point. But yeah, that's me in Quill 18. And there we go. Screen is all clear now. You can look again if you didn't want to see my ugly mug. I won't blame you if you did. Like, I don't take pictures often. I don't have my picture taken often. I'd rather not show my face if I don't have to. But there you go. Figured you people were interested. And, well, that pretty much wraps up PDXCON 2017, doesn't it? Talked about the stuff I got, talked about the people I met. I also had a nice, lovely talk with Knorr, actually. The streaming manager of Paradox. I talked a bit about my own Twitch and how he does things, how I do things with stream moderating as well. It was a really interesting chat. They also had some other people there. One of them was actually from Twitch, and that was quite interesting indeed. I'm looking quite forward to when I get my Twitch affiliate status, which should be at the end of the month. Let me just quickly think. Is there anything else I really, really want to talk about that is related to PDXCON? Actually, yes. I spoke to quite a couple of amazing people. For example, I spoke to Zeke, aka Zerval, the community developer at PDXCON. He was a really nice guy. It was really nice to see him. Of course, I spoke to Quill, as the picture shows. I've seen Angry Joe run around as well, with other Joe being there as well. That was, that was really cool to see him. He actually had a talk on stage. He was part of the Paradox Awards, which were like awards for their community. People who modded basically all their games. So things like EU4, Stellaris, City Skylines. It was really amazing. And we had a lot of fun watching that. That was a really fun talk. There was also just a lot of media people invited. So Quill wasn't the only one. There were a lot of people that had 10,000 subscribers or higher, I can recall, off the top of my head, they had the Solar Gamer was there, they had the Prussian Prince, so a lot of people there. I think I also saw Mathis Games walking around at some point, so it was a really fun convention. There were a lot of interesting people. I just spoke to a couple of random people. Even when I came out of the plane, it was like, hey, is that a Kaiserreich poster? And I'm like, yeah, cool. And so I talked a while with the Dutch subreddit, moderator Zwemfest. That was fun. Just meeting a bunch of random people, everyone interested in the same type of game, so we immediately had a collection. I even walked up to their CEO at some point, Frederick Vester, and just, said goodbye to him, thanks for having us. And I'll definitely be going again next year. I'll probably try to get on the media list, actually. If I can somehow make it to 10,000 subscribers, which would be absolutely insane. Before PDXCON 18, who knows, I might be able to get invited as press. That would be totally amazing, take part in streams and that sort of thing. Oh, that would be a dream. But it's pretty much just that, a dream. I'm gonna try, don't get me wrong. I am gonna put my butt to work and make sure that it is not down to me if that doesn't happen. But that would be just absolutely amazing. So yeah, if you can make it out to PDXCON next year, you totally should. It was definitely worth the money for me. Twice over. I would have paid twice just to be able to be there and have this amazing experience with these amazing people. And the swag, the swag's also cool. It's also really cool. Yeah, I'll definitely be there again next year. If you do happen to go, don't be afraid to say hi. I'll probably, if people want to say hi, I might tweet out a picture and be like, hey, this is how I'm going, or this is how I'm looking this particular day. Come say hi if you find me, and you want to say hi, for example. I'll probably try to make that a thing, if possible. That would be really neat. Anyway, there is one more topic we must discuss today. And that would be streaming, or more concisely, a Facecam. I came back from PDXCON feeling okay, I've been to this convention, I've shown my face to a bunch of people now, and I also just showed you my face in this very video, so why not, like, try the idea of a face cam? I've been, like, thinking about it for, like, pretty much since January, when I started streaming again. I've got a bunch of hats lying around that I just don't really know what to do with. You know, I bought them for a laugh, like those helmets, for example. I think they're cool. I am a huge World War II nerd, so I'm like, yeah, cool, I want to have that. Now it's just here, like, what do I do with it? Oh, it's in the way. I'm not gonna throw it away, that would be silly. I love it too much, but, you know, I don't really have anything to do with it. And then I'm like, you know, why not get a face cam? Like, I could just wear relevant hats for games. So, for example, if I'm playing Hearts of Iron, I could be wearing like one of 3 different hats. Maybe even 2 at once, who knows? You can never be too protected on the battlefield, comrade. And who knows? The commissar might pay us a visit. So yeah, if you for some reason didn't jump back in horror when you saw my face earlier, you might be excited to know that I currently have a tip goal going on my stream. If we get to $120, I will go out and get myself a really good face cam, because I could get a crappy one. But where's the fun in that? You know, if you're gonna go and like splurge money on something, you're gonna want to splurge on something good that is gonna last you a long while. So I figured like $120 would be good enough to like get me a really good one. I've currently got my eye on one, but, you know, the price is in euros, so if you have $120, like, adjust the price down slightly, and, like, should be alright. And then, you know, I'll also have an excuse to buy more hats, so I can have more hats for more different occasions. It is gonna be wonderful. I might even tweet, like, a teaser, just, like, being like, here's a bunch of hats I could wear, if only I had a face cam to go along with it. So I'm definitely also interested to hear your thoughts down below on a face cam, for example. I am not going to include it in like any gameplay videos on YouTube, unless there's a very good reason. So if I do play, for example, Subnautica, as much fun as watching my scared face would probably be, I don't have a green screen, so probably not gonna put my face in there, even though it might make for like a couple of laughs as you see me become terrified. That would probably scare me away from ever playing it at all on the channel. So, I mean, I'm probably gonna include the face cam on stream just because, well, it increases the enjoyment people have on stream in general. But of course, it's a polarizing thing. Some people don't like face cam. I, for example, don't like to see it in YouTube videos generally. You know, unless it has a good reason of being there. I generally enjoy my Let's Plays without a face cam, which is probably why I won't put them in my Let's Plays. But, you know, if you want to see a face cam in Let's Plays, you know, you could let me know, and I could take that into account. If you'd rather not, and are happy that I chose to do it this way, leave me your feedback. Leave me your feedback on all the things. If you would like to contribute to this tip goal, you can head over to twitch.tv/Derpdigital and use the !tip command in chat to figure out how you can support the channel. Or, if you're too lazy to do all that, you can just go to tiny.cc/ddtipjar, link will be down in the description below, coincidentally, and you could just, like, send a tip in directly. All messages will be read out on stream, and will be very much appreciated. Now, there's one thing I would like to address. Why am I doing this through Twitch rather than through Patreon? And well, let's be honest. This is going to be a face cam for Twitch, right? For Twitch streams. Well, Patreon does a lovely job of paying sort of like my upkeep for now. Like, it helps me buy food and like make sure we don't get kicked out of the house with rent and whatnot. So, but I figured it would be better to do it on Twitch because it is going to be a Twitch thing mainly. So, if people want a tip, right, it would really, like, improve the experience for them to know that their tips are going directly towards something that will be used to make streams even better. I just think, like, that would be a good motivator for people to tip. If I'm wrong about this, you know, feel free to burn me in the comments. I just think that it's a good idea to keep doing that on Twitch. You know, I might set up another stream goal, another tip goal sometime. It's like, hey, my keyboard is broken or whatever. could you help me get a new one? You know, things like that. Until the Patreon really starts kicking up and I can actually, you know, start keeping a tiny bit of the money instead of spending it all on my own expenses. That would be lovely as it is. But, you know, don't feel pressured to tip or like to become a patron or anything. I would really appreciate it if you did, but, you know, make sure that you have some disposable income to actually do that with if you plan on doing so. I don't want you to go broke to help me out, is what I'm trying to say. But anyway, if you made it all the way into this video, thank you all very much for watching. Even if you didn't make it all the way into this, you know, especially if you made it all the way this far. Hopefully you're excited about some of the things coming up to the channel. There's going to be more videos. There's going to be still the same amount of streams because I've been like streaming 4 times so far this month. I've streamed twice every week, so you know, everything's on schedule for once. It's looking great. Things are going really well. I think we've actually streamed 5 times now. Yeah, my calculations are off. I'm a noob. Damn it. Everything was going so well up to now. I could just edit this out, but you know what, screw it. I can't be bothered to be that petty, let's be honest. Yeah. Hopefully you're excited about what's coming up for these streams. You know, you might have just been happy to see my face for once. Perhaps you were typing something about how I look, and I like, yeah, I know, I'm ugly. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to making videos now. Until next time, have a good one, folks.